Welcome back! You won't believe what's been happening in Hollywood. Like, subscribe, and let's get into it. TWich's wife, Allison Holker, shared a heartbreaking message after his death, but hidden in her words was a clue that something wasn't right. Why did TWich check into a motel alone that night? And why was his phone on airplane mode? TWich first caught America's attention on So You Think You Can Dance in 2008. He wasn't just another contestant. His energy and smooth moves made him stand out immediately. People noticed how he could command the stage with just a look or a shift in his shoulders. But back then, nobody could have guessed he'd end up as Ellen's right-hand man. Before the bright lights of TV, TWich was grinding like so many dancers in LA. He worked multiple gigs to pay the bills, teaching dance classes, doing backup work, taking small acting roles. You've probably seen him pop up in movies like Magic Mike XXL or Step Up All In. But his real break came when he guest appeared on The Ellen Show in 2014. Ellen took one look at him and saw something special. Within months, TWich went from occasional guest to the show's full-time DJ. That's rare. Most DJs stay stuck behind the turntables, but Ellen kept putting him front and center. Soon he wasn't just playing music, he was dancing, joking with guests.
You're gonna have her wear it, and
All right.
Yo, Ellen, we go so far back. You don't tell these people how far back we go.
I know, but I wear t-shirts. I don't know what that means. Anyway, all right, let's.
I mean,
You hold that.
okay.
All right.
I gotta keep this. Take two if the joke didn't work.
No, it's okay.
I don't want no problems.
No, it's okay.
No, hold on. Hey, so cheers. Hey. Ellen, I heard you were sick, and look what I got you.
You
Your
got me.
boy. So whenever you get sick,
Even filling in as co-host. By 2020, he'd climbed to executive producer. Think about that. A DJ becoming an EP? That almost never happened. The way he pulled it off was pure TWich. Always smiling, always ready with a smooth transition when Ellen needed it. Fans loved how he made the show feel effortless. But behind that smile was a guy working non-stop. Friends said he'd stay up late rehearsing, then show up early to prep. The grind never stopped, even when the cameras did. What's wild is how fast everything changed. One minute, he's a struggling dancer. The next, he's sitting next to Ellen, chatting with A-list celebs. That kind of rise doesn't just happen. It takes talent, sure, but also the ability to play the game. TWich had both. He became the face of positivity on the show, the guy who made tough days look easy. But here's the thing about Hollywood. The higher you climb, the heavier the pressure gets. TWich was living the dream on the surface. Steady paycheck, famous friends, millions of fans. But that dream came with strings attached. Later, we'd find out how much those strings could choke you, because right when he seemed to have it all, everything started unraveling. The same charm that got him in the door might have been what trapped him there. Everyone watching at home saw The Ellen Show as this happy place full of dancing and good vibes. But behind the scenes, people who worked there told a completely different story. Former employees came forward saying the workplace was toxic. They talked about bullying, racism, and constant fear of losing their jobs. The show that preached kindness was allegedly full of intimidation tactics behind closed doors. Ina was always smiling on camera, doing his job perfectly, but insiders say that off-screen, the energy backstage was tense. Employees described walking on eggshells around Ellen, never knowing what might set her off. One wrong move could get you fired. That's the kind of pressure people worked under every single day. Ellen's famous nice TV persona didn't match how some staff say she acted when cameras stopped rolling. Ina, she wanted to use TWich's image to make herself look better, one source said about Ellen, and you can clearly tell that TWich wasn't comfortable. Ina, she wanted to use TWich's image to make herself look better. There were moments on air where Ellen would suddenly make TWich dance when he obviously didn't want to. Fans started noticing these uncomfortable interactions more after the toxic workplace allegations came out. The happy friendship they showed on TV might have been more complicated in reality. Former employees said the worst part was the unpredictability. Some days, Ellen could be fine. Other days, she'd explode over small things. Nobody knew which version of Ellen they'd get. That kind of environment wears people down after a while. Even when Ellen later apologized for her behavior, the damage was already done. Multiple people had quit over the years because they couldn't take the stress anymore. This context changes how people look at TWich's sudden death. He spent years in that high-pressure environment, always having to perform happiness perfectly. Fans started wondering, How much did that constant performance take out of him? The show's happy mask hid serious problems, and TWich was right in the middle of it all. When the toxic workplace stories first broke in 2020, TWich publicly supported Ellen, but now people question if he had any real choice in that. As executive producer, he might have felt pressure to defend the show, no matter what. That's the thing about these toxic environments. They trap everyone in them, even the people who seem to have it made, like TWich, with his dream job. The more we learn about what happened behind the scenes, the more suspicious TWich's death seems. People who survive toxic workplaces talk about lasting damage, the anxiety, the sleepless nights. It makes you wonder what TWich was really going through during all those years of smiling for the cameras. The timeline of TWich's final hours raises too many questions to ignore. On December 12, 2022, he walked out of his home without telling his wife, Allison, where he was going. That alone was strange. Allison said he never did things like that. She got worried fast when she realized he'd left without his car and wasn't answering his phone. By that evening, she'd officially reported him missing to the police. What happened next gets even more unusual. TWich took an Uber to a motel just 1 mile from his house, the Oak Tree Inn. He paid $17 cash for a single night's stay and checked in under his real name. Think about that. If someone plans to kill themselves, why use their actual name at check-in? Why pick a motel basically around the corner from home? These choices don't add up to a planned suicide. It looks more like someone who wasn't thinking clearly or didn't plan to die at all. Then there's what happened with his phone. Right before checking in, TWich switched it to airplane mode. That cut off all communication. No calls, no texts, no way for anyone to track his location. Allison tried reaching him for hours, with no luck. This wasn't just turning off notifications. Airplane mode is a deliberate move to disappear completely. People familiar with suicide cases say these details don't fit. Typically, someone planning suicide might leave a note or make final calls. They don't usually hide in plain sight at a cheap motel using their real name. The method doesn't match either. A gunshot to the chest leaves questions about whether someone else was involved. There's no clear evidence he planned this for days or weeks. The timing is suspicious too. This happened right after major drama hit Hollywood, right when Diddy's abuse allegations were making headlines. Then right after TWich's death, Ellen suddenly left the country. She changed her appearance completely, dyed her signature blonde hair brown, and moved to England. That's not normal behavior for someone grieving their longtime coworker and friend. When police searched the motel room, they found his belongings neatly placed. Wallet, ID, cash, all undisturbed. No signs of struggle or anything ransacked. But they also didn't find a suicide note or any explanation, just his body and his things, perfectly in order, except for one terrible detail. The coroner ruled it a suicide, but people who've studied cases like this say something's off. The way everything happened so suddenly, the strange choices TWich made that day, Ellen fleeing right after. It all points to deeper trouble. When you line up these facts next to the stories about Ellen's toxic workplace, it paints a picture people can't ignore. Why would someone with so much going for them, a loving wife, kids, career success, suddenly snap like this? Unless the pressure behind closed doors was worse than anyone knew. Unless what looked like a dream job was actually crushing him. That's what makes this timeline so hard to believe. The official story leaves too many holes where the truth should be. Fans didn't wait long to start digging after TWich's death. Almost overnight, compilation videos began circulating, showing uncomfortable moments between him and Ellen. Clips that once seemed playful now took on a darker meaning. One moment kept resurfacing, Ellen demanding TWich dance when he clearly wasn't in the mood. You can see the hesitation in his face, the forced smile as he gets up to perform. People pointed out how often Ellen used him as a prop, pushing him to be the happy black dancer whenever she needed good TV. The more these videos spread, the more fans questioned their dynamic. Ellen built her brand on kindness, but these compilations showed something else. She'd interrupt TWich mid-sentence to make him dance. She'd mock his outfit choices in front of guests. In one segment from 2019, she made a joke about firing him while the audience laughed. At the time, it played like light humor. Now, with what we know about her show's toxic environment, it reads differently. People online started connecting his death to other mysterious Hollywood passings. They noted how other whistleblowers and insiders met sudden, tragic ends. Comparisons popped up to people like Karen White's manager, Chris Lighty, who also died of a gunshot wound ruled suicide. That case had similar odd details. no note, no clear motive. When fans mapped out the timing, they saw how TWich died right as Diddy's legal trouble exploded. Another link to Ellen's circle that raised eyebrow. The most disturbing theory claimed TWich knew too much. As executive producer, he was backstage for every episode during the worst years of Ellen's alleged abuse. He saw which guest had meltdowns, which staff got bullied. Some clips show him physically stepping between Ellen and crew members during tense moments. That's why his death seems so convenient for certain people. 3 weeks after he died, Ellen abruptly moved to the UK. She changed her signature blonde hair to brown, like someone trying to disappear. What sealed it for many was the missing suicide note. The police confirmed TWich left one, but his family never released it. The coroner's report had whole sections blacked out. That secrecy made people suspicious. Normally, families share notes to provide closure. The fact that Allison Holker kept it private while publicly calling his death unthinkable made some wonder, was there something in that note they didn't want getting out? Then came the flood of confessions from former Ellen staffers. One said TWich had been looking for a way out for months. Another claimed he'd argued with Ellen weeks before his death. None of this proved anything, but it fed the growing sense that his happy on-screen persona was a facade. That's what haunts people most, how someone who radiated so much joy could be suffering in silence. The internet didn't buy the official story because the pieces don't fit. Too many Hollywood deaths follow the same pattern. No warning signs, no clear motive, and always a network of powerful people who benefit from the silence. TWich's death ripped open the curtain on Hollywood's darkest secrets. Here was a man who smiled through every appearance, while behind the scenes, the pressure never let up. The industry runs on performances, not just on stage, but in every interaction. How many other stars are faking it until they break? The way his death was handled tells us everything. Rushed rulings, missing details, powerful figures fleeing scrutiny. This wasn't just a tragedy, it was a warning. The system protects itself first. Until that changes, the cycle won't stop. TWich deserved better, and the next victim might already be living the same lie.